Howdy folks, I'm Darren and welcome to Cross Timbers Outside. Glad to have you outside with us today. It's a beautiful early March day. Just a wonderful day, a little breezy. But other than that, the temperatures are in the low 70s and have been for the last several days, 3 to 4 days. It's been really nice. I went crappie fishing yesterday and about 3 days ago also. And man, I'm telling you, I was on the struggle bus. That's why there's not a crappie video been uploaded to our outside channel. Man, I'm telling you, I just put miles on my boat, riding and watching a graph, just trying to locate fish. And I did manage yesterday to catch a few. I caught a couple of 10-inchers and a couple of 8-inchers, but I think overall yesterday I fished about 5 hours and I think I caught 5 fish. That would average about a fish an hour. Nothing worth bringing y'all on video. And the day before that, well, not the day before, but the time before that I went to a totally different lake that I hadn't been to in years. And Hurricane Helene really changed that lake. You'll have to excuse me for the smoke blowing in my face. Hurricane Helene really changed that lake. I mean, the lake was still in the same places, but I'm talking about river ledges and structure where I had found some crappie in the past. That never was my favorite crappie lake to start with. The crappie population in that lake's quite low. And it never was my favorite to start with, but I thought I'd try it. And I went and I rode and watched a graph for hours and hardly located any fish. Now that's a clear, deep mountain lake and it can get up to 100 feet deep in places. And I by no means covered the whole lake. That's a pretty large lake too, and it would have took me days to cover that lake. But the day that I went, what ground I did cover, where I had found some crappie years past, there was none. I don't know if the storm done them in or if I'm just that bad at finding crappie. But yesterday I went back to a lake that I fish quite often, and I found a few, not a lot, but I found a few. And man, the water was high. We had rain the day before yesterday, quite a bit of rain. And the lake level there was probably 2 to 3 feet higher than normal. It was really high water and stained, and it had pushed those fish probably off their normal haunts. And I just couldn't find many fish. The ones that I did find, man, I had to vertical jig them, and you had to sit with a jig right in their face before they'd bite it. And even then, the bite was really soft. Lots of times you'd just feel your line go heavy. You really wouldn't even feel a thump or nothing. But anyway, the fishing should pick up, and we'll be bringing more fishing content. Today we're here down at our campsite, and man, we got us a fire going, we got us a hot cup of coffee. I got me a cigar or two I'm gonna enjoy here in a little while. But one reason I'm down here today, you may see sitting here beside of me, I have my squirrel rifle. This is a black powder firearm. Yes, real old time black powder is what I shoot out of it. Reminiscent of our forefathers. Now, let's get this up front. I'm not into reenactments. A lot of people gets really into black powder shooting, do the reenactments, they dress period accordingly, you know, with buckskin shirts and all that stuff, and they really enjoy that and they get into it. They go shoot walkthroughs on clubs and have reenactment days and things of that nature. I love history, but I don't get into reenactment. I don't wear period appropriate clothing when I'm shooting a black powder rifle, all that stuff. I'm a small game hunter who loves history and love the old time ways, but I'm still in, here we are in 2026. So when I go to the squirrel woods, I'm not wearing a buckskin coat, homemade buckskin coat with, you know, leggings and gaiters and a British hat, you know, and all that type of stuff. You'll see me in some camouflage and a more modern looking shooting bag that I'm wearing, but I'm still carrying an old time black powder cap lock rifle. I've been looking at some flintlocks, and this little squirrel rifle is a 32 caliber, and this is a Traditions Firearms 32 caliber deer hunter model. Now, Traditions made the deer hunter model of traditional muzzleloading rifles in 50 caliber normally. And then, I don't know why, but sometime in the mid-90s, they come out with the same gun as the Deer Hunter 50 caliber, but with a 32 caliber barrel on it. Light as a feather, 24-inch barrel, I believe is what's on it, or 26, I can't remember, I'd have to look. It's a single trigger, cap lock, muzzleloading traditional rifle with a 32 caliber barrel on it. Perfect squirrel rifle, rabbit rifle. This thing will even take down coyotes depending on, you know, how much powder you want, how much charge you want to use. And I found this gun online at Log Cabin in Ohio, and I ordered it. It was a used gun because they don't make these anymore. They made the Deer Hunter in 32 caliber from the mid-90s to the early 2000s. So they was maybe a period of 10 years or 8, somewhere in there. I'm not real sure. I've done a little bit of research on it. I can't find definite numbers of when it was made, the years of it. But they ain't made this gun in several years. And man, I'm telling you, this is a shooter. Now, I have not shot this gun probably, and to be honest with you, about 2 years. So I may have to get back into the swing of shooting this little 32. But before, when I squirrel hunted with it, I remember I shot 15 grains of Go-X Triple F black powder and a patched round ball with a .18 pillow-ticking patch lubed with Trapper's mink oil. I do remember all that. I wrote a lot of this stuff down because I developed a load for this. I remember it shot really well with 15 or 20 grains, whichever one would go with. But it seemed like when I was squirrel hunting that 20 grains is pretty hot, and man, it'd tear a squirrel up. So I dropped down to 15 grains, and it still shot really good. So I hunted with it at 15 grains. But today I think I'm gonna shoot some at both 15 and 20 grains. And we've got us a target set up out here, and we're gonna range that target and move our shooting rest accordingly to the proper yardage. We're gonna fire a little black powder. Let a little black powder smoke roll through these woods. And for a 32 caliber and to be only have 15 to 20 grains in it, this is a loud little rifle. All black powder rifles are pretty loud. So we'll be wearing ear protection and eye protection. One reason I wear eye protection, shooting this gun, you always should, but especially me. This is a right-handed cap lock traditional muzzleloader, and I'm left-handed. I shoot a gun left-handed. So when I shoot it, you can see the cap lock is over right in my face, right in my eye. So I make sure I have on glasses because sparks can shatter when it fires and things of that nature. So I always wear glasses and hearing protection when I'm just shooting. But this is a fantastic little rifle. I've got a traditional leather sling on it, and I've got a range rod I'm going to be using. It's got a good ramrod for hunting, and I do have a range rod that I'm going to be loading with and cleaning with today. And I do shoot real black powder. I have shot Pirate XP. The P stands for pistol. You can buy substitute black powder in Pirate X brand in an RS or a P. RS stands for rifle shotgun, which is equivalent usually to a 2F, and the P is equivalent to a 3 or a 4F, somewhere in that range. So in a small caliber like this, even though it is a rifle, I still shoot 3F out of it. So in Pyrodex, I shot the P. I like the real black powder better. I like it a lot better, as a matter of factly. The Pyrodex was okay, and I hear a lot of people complain about black powder being really nasty, really dirty. It's hard to clean. I found it just to be the opposite. To me, personal opinion, and my personal experiences, cleaning muzzleloading traditional rifles with real black powder, shooting real black powder, was easier than cleaning it when I shot substitutes. All right, let's enjoy a cup of coffee here and sit back and stoke our fire a little bit. Then we're going to do some shooting. Come along with us. This black powder muzzleloader, and it is a traditional style muzzleloader in a cap lock, and it is a 1 in 48 twist barrel in 32 caliber, and it shoots round balls really well. A 1 in 48 twist is a good combination twist rate for a variety of things. A 1 in 66 twist would probably be better for just if you're only going to shoot round balls. But if you want to shoot some conicals or maxi balls or things like that, and they do make 32 caliber maxi balls, I have some. A 1 in 48 twist is a really good middle of the road. And I've always just shot patched round balls out of this gun, and it has shot them really well in the past. I've taken quite a few squirrels with this rifle, and it shoots really good at my open sight range. My eyesight's not as good as it used to be, so longer range shooting without optics is kind of out for me. But this is a black powder rifle. It's a black powder squirrel rifle, or small game, and so my ranges are appropriate for the size game. You're talking about hitting a squirrel head, you know, that's a small target, about golf ball size target, and you get much past 30, 40 yards, and that's a tough feat for me with open sights and my eyesight. So my eyesight's good to a point, but when you get older like I'm getting, you know, it is what it is. I do have some more modern sights on the gun. I have some fiber optic sights back here in green on the rear side on a ramp, and the front sight is a beaded white sight on this side of the sight's got a white bead, so I can see them a little better. All right, I've swabbed out the barrel from where it's been in the gun safe and storage, and it had a nice thin coating of oil down that barrel, and it come out clean, and the gun is empty. You could hear the ramrod or the range rod hitting the breech, so we know the gun's empty. So now we're going to load the rifle. And remember, when you're loading black powder, powder, patch, ball. And today, out of this rifle, we are shooting GoX 3F, real black powder. Okay, you can see I have a pour spout attached to it. And if you're wondering where I got that pour spout, that just come off of a chalk bottle for chalk line carpenters use. Just washed it, cleaned it real good. And we have a powder measure, as you can see, and I have it set to 20 grains. So we're going to load 20 grains of powder into this powder measure, and this is by volume, not weight. So we're going 20 grains volume, and then we're going to pour it down our barrel. All right, but first we need to load our powder measure, and I load right out of the can where I've got this spout on it. Very handy. Okay, I'll do it up here at the camera so you can see. $20 grains of powder is not much. You see that? Okay, now I'm just going to close that off, and it levels it right off. Okay, we're going to set our powder way aside, nowhere near where we're shooting. All right. Now we're going to take our rifle, and we're going to pour this powder right down the barrel. Okay, just to verify my powder measure is empty. 20 grains of powder is down the barrel. Okay, everybody has ways that they do things muzzle loading, a little different than everybody else. Anytime I pour powder down my barrel, I tap my barrel to make sure that powder goes all the way to the bottom, to the breech. Okay, next, powder is in the gun. Next, we have to lube us a patch. And I do use this right here, Trapper's Pure Mink Oil. This is fantastic stuff. This is my hunting lube because it won't freeze. You can use it outside when it's 20 degrees, and it will not, I have found, saturate your powder that bad where your powder won't fire. It's like, you know, the old mountain man told Jeremiah Johnson, Pilgrim, keep your powder dry. You got to be able to keep your powder dry. This lube works great for me. Everybody has different kinds of lubes they use. Thompson Center Boar Butter has always been popular. Ballistol soaked patches, people use that. People use spit patches. Yeah, put the patch in your mouth, get it all salivated, and then use it for lube to put on your patch down your gun. I'd rather use something I can use out that will not freeze. I want my guns ready for hunting season no matter what weather it is. This mink oil has been really good. And I do get this from Track of the Wolf. It's a company that sells black powder shooting supplies, and I really like it. And I'll just give you a glance of it. It almost looks like beeswax or something. A mixture of beeswax and tallow. Okay. I have some pre-cut 0.18 pill-a-ticking patches, as you can see. All right, I'm gonna take one patch and I'm gonna lay it down in that mink oil. Put the lid on because it's a little breezy out here today. Okay. And I'm gonna get me a .310 round ball out of my little medicine jar thing. Perfect to keep them in. 32 caliber small, look at that. Somebody told me, I'm not so sure it's exactly accurate, but I have heard that you can cut open a 12 gauge double-aught buckshot shotgun shell, and that's the size of the double-aught buckshot. I don't know that, I've not mic'd them to see it or nothing like that. So we're gonna lay our ball right here, and I'm gonna lube up my patch. I'm just gonna take my patch and rub it around in this mink oil. That ought to be good. Okay. I'm gonna bring the camera over so you can see a little better. I'm gonna center this patch over my barrel, just like that. All right, next I'm gonna take my round ball and put it right in the center of that patch. Okay, I'm gonna thumb start it, just like that. Okay, next I'm taking my short starter. You can see it's got a knob on that end. It's for 32 caliber, and a longer end. They're both concave to fit the bore, the ball. Okay. All right, that started. Okay. Now I'm going to take my range rod. Here's my range rod, and I'm going to push that ball home. Okay, it's against the powder, I can feel it. I'm gonna hold my fingers right where the barrel is, the end of the barrel. I'm gonna pull this range rod out. I'm gonna compare it to how much is in the, okay, there's that much between the powder and the ball and the patch in the barrel. All right, we're good to go. Okay, now we have a capper. This is called a capper that you can carry in the woods hunting. If you're just out range shooting, you can just put them on there by hand, but they're really small and you drop them easy. All right, we're gonna half cock the gun and then we're gonna cap it. You put your cap over the nipple and pull. Okay, this gun now is considered ready to fire, except for the hammer has not been cocked. Keep it pointed downrange at all times in a safe direction at all times. Okay folks, we're ready to fire this 32, and we got a target set up down there with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullseyes on it, and we're at 30 yards. We're going to shoot for the lower left orange dot. Eyes on. Ears on. Feels good to make black powder smoke go rolling. We went with 20 grains, and it shot just a little bit left, actually about 3 inches left, and maybe just a hair low. So we're going to go back to 15 grains. I have found out that that is a really good squirrel load, 15 grains. But we don't hunt with a dirty gun. Yes, it's only been shot one time. We don't go to the squirrel woods on a hunting trip with a fouled barrel. So we're going to go ahead and swab it, and every shot will be fired with a clean barrel. So let's swab it out. And I have a little thing I do that I picked up from a guy one time about swabbing your barrel between shots. And it's a little maybe unorthodox, but danged if it don't work. Take a clean patch, and what I do with it, I have an old eye drop bottle. Guess what's in this? Rubbing alcohol. You can wet your patch with it, swab out your barrel, and it dries quickly. So we just put a little on our patch, lay our patch right over the muzzle, and let's swab it out. That isopropyl alcohol does a good job. Okay, lay that aside. Now I'm just going to run a clean patch. No more alcohol. That one patch with alcohol in it was enough. Okay. Okay, it's getting a lot cleaner. Now I'm going to flip the patch over and down one more time. I do have a jag on the end of my ramrod. Okay, that come out pretty clean. All right, now we're ready to reload. A couple years ago I developed a load. I shot this gun a lot, getting it to where it was shooting just perfectly. And I found that 15 grains, it patterned with a patched round ball the best. And that last shot was 20 grains. And it was a hair low and left. So I'm going back to 15 grains. And you may think, wow, Darren, 15 grains ain't much. Oh, it's enough when you're talking squirrels. Trust me, I've shot squirrels with this gun at 15 grains and tore some of them up pretty bad, even at just 15 grains. So I'm going back to 15 grains. Okay. And as you can see down in that powder measure, I don't know if you can see the bottom, 15 grains ain't much, but it's more than enough for squirrel hunting. I've proven that. Okay, let's set our rubbing alcohol to the side. Let's get our GoX Triple F. Let's load 15 grains into our powder measure. All right, 15 grains into the gun. Okay, we're going to take a patch. Have to keep the lid on these patches or they'll be blown all over the place down here. Okay, I'm going to drop my patch in there while I get a ball. That ought to do it. Okay, we're going to put our patch squarely over the top of the muzzle, just like that. We'll set our ball right in the center and thumb start it. Take our short starter and start it down in the barrel. There we go. Take our range rod and push it home. Okay, that's a pretty, I could feel it seating on that powder. I see a lot of people just really ramming hard. I don't have a problem with like that, dropping it from a short distance. But I've seen people pull their ramrod up and just really throw it, slam it down. And I feel like you're probably deforming your ball a little bit when you do that. You can feel it if it sets good on the powder. If you've got a decent range rod, you can feel, it's like a good fishing rod, feeling that bite. You can feel when that powder seats, when that patch and ball seats on that powder. All right, we're ready for, you know what I'm gonna do? This could be messing me up a little bit on that rest. I'm gonna take my ramrod, my hunting ramrod, out. So when this gun's resting up here, it's not got that flexing of that ramrod under it, because that is a copolymer ramrod. And I know a lot of folks use wooden ramrods. They think that's traditional, and it is. But when you're out in the woods hunting and you take a hickory ramrod and ram it and it breaks, wooden ramrods are notorious for breaking. It can cause splinters to go through your hands, things like that. I went with these copolymer, fiberglass, I'm not sure exactly what it is. Look how flexible it is. And it is excellent for loading out in the woods, a hunting ramrod, because you can't really carry a range rod around in the woods with you. All right, let's go for shot number 2. This will be shot number 1 with the 15 grain load. Okay, we are reloaded. 15 grains of powder, 18th .18 patch, and a 310 round ball. Let's see how it's grouping. Real black powder to me is not near as dirty as substitutes. Substitutes to me are dirtier than the real thing. And shooting 15 grains, I notice when I clean it, when the patch comes out, there's no unburnt powder. It's burning it all. You're getting full force of what powder you're using. There comes a point where you can use too much powder and you'll have unburnt powder that is be kind of blackened, it's coming out when you swab your barrel after a shot. This one has none. Of course, I'm only shooting 15 grains. You know what? That was 2 shots with 20 grains. and I was not impressed. I have some 315 balls instead of 310. I'm tempted to drop back down to 15 grains and try a 315 ball. Instead of changing my powder charge, because 15 grains for squirrel hunting is more than enough. Okay, instead of a 310, I'm loading a 315 ball. Still using the 018 patch. Okay, that went down okay. Tighter, but okay. Maybe that'll be more accurate. Right here, 15 grains, 315 round ball. Right here. All right, that's shot one. Let's do two more. One thing I really enjoy about muzzle loading is all the different things you can do to improve accuracy. Different patch size thicknesses, different ball sizes, different kind of projectiles, whether it's a round ball or a conical or a maxi ball, or I really enjoy all the things you can do that you just can't get with modern firearms. Okay, shot number two with 15 grains, a .18 patch, and a 315 round ball. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, that was a much better group. I really like dropping back down to 15 grains for a squirrel load. Number one, so you ain't damaging so much meat. And number two, this gun burns every speck of powder at 15 grains. I mean every speck. And the barrel is not hard to swab afterwards, and it's not just fouled terribly. To me, it's a good round. It's a good grain for this gun for small game. And I don't have a chronograph, so I have no idea about feet per second. But I do know from past experience that I've shot plenty of squirrels with this gun at 15 grains, out to 40 yards or further. And it kills them dead. Squirrel's not a tough big game animal or something. I mean, you're not shooting, having to penetrate a wild hog's shield in its shoulder or something like that. It's a small game gun. And when you put too much powder in, a lot of times you're not burning all that powder. A lot of it's just going out in hot embers, and some of it's still in the barrel, and you're kind of wasting powder. Don't use no more than you have to. But some guns, you have to put a little more powder because that's what they like. It makes them more accurate. So, but this one, 15 grains. And so far this 315 round ball is out shooting the 310 2-to-1. There's so many trains of thought when it comes to black powder firearms, traditional black powder firearms, patch material, powders, Swiss, Schutzen, Go-X, even some of the synthetics or substitutes, Pyrodex, 777. There's just so many things. Flintlocks, percussion, number 11 caps, number 10 caps. There's just so many things, variables to it. 0.10 pillow ticking, 0.18 pillow ticking, denim for patch material. There's just so many things that you can do. Just do what works for you, what works for your gun. Here's a prime example. I have two traditional 50 caliber black powder Hawken style rifles. I have one that's a Thompson Center Hawken. Then I have one that I refurbished. It's an older CVA Hawken style carbine. And they're both 50 caliber percussions. And they both prefer much different loads. They don't shoot the same. What shoots good in that Thompson Center does not shoot well at all in that CVA, and vice versa. I had to develop loads, patch thickness, ball diameter, all that stuff for each one. This little gun, and I hadn't shot it in so long, I could not remember. I had 310 and 315 balls, and I couldn't remember which one I shot out of it, which it shot the best. And I found out, I do remember I shot 15 grains and a 0.18 pillow ticking patch. I couldn't remember which ball, and so I switched balls, and bingo, this thing's shooting good. So it likes something different. If you have a 32 of this exact Traditions brand in the Deer Hunter and a 32 caliber, it may like a 310 ball with 30 grains of powder and a 0.10 patch. It's just, you got to shoot it to find out what that gun likes. Okay, our powder is in the gun. Let's load our patch and ball. Okay, here will be shot number 3 for our 3-shot group. Okay, that one went a little low. It's about a 2-inch group. Let's do one. We got a 3-shot group down there, and I think the last shot I pulled just a little bit. We're shooting at 30 yards. Okay, our target, the best groups we got was with 15 grains and the 315 round ball. I need to do a little more testing. I'd like to test the 315 round ball with 25 grains of powder, and I haven't done that yet. That'll be for another day. It's getting late in the evening, and okay, we are reloaded for our last shot of the day. And you know, you've probably saw down there at the targets, we got a gong sitting down there, and it's not even been shot yet. We can't leave until we ring that gong. I'm gonna zoom in on it. Okay, there's the gong. Let's ring it with the old 32 smoke pole. Shooting steel's fun, especially with a smoke pole. All right, let's swab out this barrel. We're done shooting for the day. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a quick swab or two before I stick it in the case to take it home for a thorough cleaning in the shop tonight. All right, it's time for a cup of coffee. We're done shooting for the day. It's time for a cup of coffee and a cigar and sit by the fire for a few minutes. Be dark in about 45 minutes. And we're now in daylight savings time, thank goodness. We've had a good evening shooting. Let's fire us up a cigar. and I don't smoke expensive cigars, cheap ones. My favorite's these black milds and a cherry with a wood tip. They're cheap, you know, you can just pick them up at convenience stores. But man, are they good. To me, they're good. Somebody that's a cigar connoisseur would probably think they're terrible. A good hot cup of coffee and a cigar by the campfire don't get much better. The only thing might be better is if we had a big ribeye steak sizzling, or a pan of scrambled eggs and some Susan's fry bread going. That's a pretty smooth cigar. Our little rifle, we haven't shot it in a couple years. Why am I out shooting it now? Because I've got the itch again this coming. I've got all spring, summer, and fall, or spring and summer. I've got the itch to start doing some more squirrel hunting again. And this is going to be my rifle of choice. This 32 caliber percussion muzzleloader. And it's a good little gun. I would like to have one with a little longer barrel. This one's a carbine style. This little rifle handles good in the woods. It's not that heavy. The short barrel lends itself really good, you know, to swinging up in trees and through brush and different things to shoot. However, I would like to have me a 32 and a little longer barrel for a little better accuracy. Because we're talking a squirrel gun's got to be accurate. You're talking, you know, shooting at something in the head the size of a golf ball, and that's where you want to hit them to reduce any kind of meat damage. So, you know, I always aim for the head, and a little longer barrel would lend itself to a little better accuracy. But this is a very fast handling little gun. If you jump a rabbit out of a brush pile, you can swing on it pretty fast and cock the hammer and get off a shot before it gets out of range. It's a good little gun. We really like it. And it handles really well, shoots really well. And it's a little finicky with the load, but most muzzle loaders are. So the traditional muzzle loaders anyway, that I've shot are all a little finicky in what they like. You have to find out what they like. So, you know, you just got to work up a load, what works best for you and what works best for your gun. If I ever buy another muzzle loader, it'll probably be another 32. And I'll buy one and then a longer barrel and quite possibly a flintlock. Thanks for being with us today here outside. We're going to sit back and relax the rest of the evening by the fire, smoke a cigar and drink some coffee, and just rest the rest of the evening. So we'll be back with more shooting this 32. I hadn't shot it in several years, and I about forgot what the load was that I had worked up for it. I did remember it's 15 grains. And I did remember I used an 18 pill-a-tick and patch, but I couldn't remember what size ball I had used. And it's very obvious the gun pattern's the 315 ball a lot better than the 310. So I wouldn't care to, next time down that I bring the muzzleloader down, to shoot a 3 or 4 shot group with a 20 grain and then another 3 or 4 shot group with 25 grains. Although I really don't much want to, because 15 grains is enough for squirrel hunting. 20 and 25 grains, you're getting on up there a pretty hot, fast moving load, and might be okay for coyotes or something. But for squirrel hunting or rabbit hunting, it's getting a little too hot. So I'll probably stick with the 15 grains. And I can play around a little bit with patch thickness and see what it likes from there. Thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it. We're going to kick back and enjoy the rest of our cigar before dark, and pour us another good hot cup of coffee. Enjoy the campfire before dark, and then after dark we're going to go in the shop and give this muzzleloader a thorough cleaning. Thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it, and I pray God blesses you and your family, and we pray y'all have a fantastic day. Get outside. That's not a half bad cigar for a cheap cigar.